That's right, folks. Another episode of the Razzball Fantasy Football Podcast. And yes, it's your favorite day and our favorite day. It is the Razzball Fantasy Football Sunday Live Start Sit Show, starting right now on the Razzball Fantasy YouTube channel. And as you can see on the screen, we have the main team. I'm going to kick it up to our host for today's show, Sky Gawasco. You can follow him on Twitter at Sky Gawasco. We also have Matthew Styles at Styles08 and Gladys L. Tyler. What's going on, team?
Howdy. Hiya.
Good morning, everybody. We got another overseas game. So we're going to kick it off here at the halftime. Of course, we got the Patriots and Colts apparently playing a football game. Still TBD, but Jonathan Taylor at least rumbled in for us early, so we like to see that. Welcome back to the Razzball Fantasy Football YouTube show. Patricio, Cody already checking in. Appreciate that. Everyone else, feel free to jump in those comments and give us your Week 10 start sit questions. We will get through every single question as we do every single week, so make sure to hit us up there. If you're not already, be sure to please follow us on Razzball NFL, Razzball Fantasy NFL on Twitter. Of course, you can hit our individual handles, and you can download the podcast during the week when we repurpose all of our episodes. That's the Razzball Fantasy Football Podcast. And of course, smash the bell, leave a comment below, and subscribe here as well. All right, Bill Dino checking in as well, coming back for another week. Appreciate that. Got a handful of questions. Before we get going here, let's put you guys on the spot just for a second. We are more than halfway through. Styles, we'll start with you. Who is one player, and just make it totally personal for your rosters, your situation in fantasy, who's one player you need to just go off today?
Bijan. We talked about it last week. Just fire Arthur Smith or give Bijan the ball. That's the options today.
Love that. Gladys, how about yourself?
Lamar. I need Lamar to go out in probably the worst possible matchup he's going to have. But yeah, I need Lamar to do it.
I'm with you. And Lamar's been extra frustrating because he's arguably the best quarterback in football right now, just in NFL terms. He's on fire, but he's not scoring the touchdowns because Gus Edwards is rumbling in everywhere. But Lamar's been absolutely on fire. But I'm with you. We can use that triple stack with him, Zay Flowers, and Mark Andrews. Bobo, how about yourself, bud? Who needs to go off for your teams?
I need Kenneth Walker to rekindle the flame. Like the last few weeks have been bad. I'm playing one of the top teams in the league in my big league, and I'm like 500, which I should be number one seed because my team is good, but I am bad at the fantasy football. So, I need Kenneth Walker just to say, I got you, Bob. CMC's my RB1. I need Kenny to just be like, hey, you know what? I'm your RB1 this week, and just go bananas and get 28 points.
Ooh, 28 points. I love that. In half PPR, too, that's going to be difficult to do, as we know. But in full PPR, not so much. So this is kind of contradictory, of course, but I'm actually going to go with Calvin Ridley. It was my guy early this year going up against my Niners this week. So, of course, I want the Niners to win the game. But Calvin Ridley, I would love to see just an explosion game. And oddly enough, I think that's possible versus the 49ers, who give up the third most fantasy points to wide receivers. Now, they have a great pass rush bringing in Chase Young. I'd love to see that. But Christian Kirk, really that passing game in general, but certainly Calvin Ridley, Christian Kirk, I think could have a great game in this game, which should be a shootout in general. So those are our people we're hoping can explode for us in fantasy. Make sure you leave a comment below and let us know whether it's a question or not, just which player you're hoping just blows the roof off today so we can get those high scores. I want to just double check really quick here. Derek is out for today. Of course, Gladys popping in. We appreciate that always. But Derek is generally our weather person. I just want to get a triple check. We don't have any weather concerns around the league. And if we do, maybe we can have a check-in on that around 9 o'clock Pacific time, noon.
Only game right now is Washington at Seattle, 60+% chance of rain. That's the only thing I found.
Yeah, and that's standard Seattle. I'm up here. It's not raining right now. I'm literally boots on the ground in Seattle, so not worried about that too much. And again, we know that rain can affect the game, but not as much maybe as high winds. So maybe a wet game. Maybe that's good for Bob. Maybe they're running the ball more with Ken Walker today. We'll see.
Nope, I just got Gino and DK. I got a bunch of things going on. I can't have that. When I looked it up and I talked to Matt earlier this morning, and he's like, "Yeah, Seattle rain," and I'm like, "I just can't right now. I just don't want to hear that because I have a lot riding on Seattle today. So I'm gonna need boots on the ground, Sky, just to keep every 15 minutes. Just say, hey, Bob, sunny. It's sunny out today. We're good. I need your boots on the ground, positivity."
Yeah, Bob, and for our Seattle listeners, and of course, Matt Style is very familiar with the Northwest here in Seattle specifically. Bob, I have to let you know there's sunshine in Seattle 6.5 weeks a year, and these are not 6.5 weeks,
and it's all in a row.
Okay, great. Yeah. So when I asked you just to say positive things, you did the opposite. So I'm glad this is the kind of situation, the day we're having. It's week 10, Sky. By now you should know I'm on full tilt. All right. I can't be having negativity today. So
fair enough.
Just remember, Bob, whatever you want to do
on full tilt as well.
You send me your start sets, Bob, and I took care of you last week, right? I'm officially your coach. So you make the decision of names to send me. I make the real decision on who you're going to start. It's that simple.
Yeah, it's funny. I did that. I did that for DJ Moore. So let's see how that works out. And so the other thing I will say is today, before we get into everyone's questions, and obviously I'm blurry again because that's just my freaking life with this camera. But yeah, is that I had the Packers in a bunch of leagues defense, and one of the injury updates is like 2 of their best players are out.
Yes.
So I shoot a text over to Matt this morning, just thinking Matt's gonna be like, no, you're fine. Packers will be good. And then he's like, no, bail. It's like, get out of there, man. Get out of there. So now I'm like, I don't have defenses to play. So I'm interested to hear everybody's, like, I'm talking deep names. I'm not talking like Raiders and Steelers. I'm talking like dart throw. Like right now I have the Bengals against the Texans. That's how bad it's getting. If anybody has a defensive, interesting take, I am all ears today, folks. All ears.
Falcons, Arizona. I like.
They are gone. That's what I mean. I thought the same thing.
Speaking of
Jags against San Francisco.
Oh, Gladys. You know what? I think you need some sleep. But if that ends up hitting, I'm listening. You're going to be my defensive person forever now.
Okay. What up, Jamie?
We got a shout out already. Jamie is back in the place. We have Richard tuning in. Beach is here early. We like to see that. And Beach, look, Bob, speaking of having your back, Beach tuning in right away. Look at this. 10 for 249 and 2 for Calvin Ridley today. Plus the Niners get the win. Love to see that. All right.
Beach is drunk. Go home. Beach, you're drunk.
All right, let's get into it here. Patricio is in the place already. And again, guys, obviously you can see my connection's not 100%, living in a cabin in the woods. So if I'm terrible, just cut me off and I'll come back to you. But I'll roll until you tell me not to. Patricio, good morning. Always checking in bright and early, first thing in the morning. Thank you so much. And again, Bob, can you remind the folks if they have an opportunity to jump in? Maybe they got to get rolling here. They got to walk the pup before the games kick off. They got to run a couple of errands for the missus, whatever it is. How can they maybe jump the ladder if possible, if they need to get into one of our questions early?
Yeah, man. First off, we like to promote the fact that we have partnered with Good Sports, which is a charity organization that helps provide sporting equipment to underprivileged communities to help kids play sports. And so if you become a super chatter for us, and you provide us a donation of $1, whatever you can give us that helps us for the show, we are going to donate 10% of that to Good Sports this year. And if you're in a rush, you can't sit around and wait for your answer. We have sometimes hundreds of questions each week. You could just donate $1. You become a super chatter and we will answer your question right away. So any donation would be appreciated. And of course, we want to give back to the sporting community as well. So if you do want to jump the line, or if you just want to contribute to the show, just become a super chatter. You could use the super chat function on YouTube.
Oh.
Love that. Thank you very much. Let's get it kicking off, fam. Patricio signing in. We need a running back, a wide receiver, a flex between Henry, your boy Ken Walker, Bob, Najee Harris, Olave, Christian Kirk, full PPR, aka free points for dumb stuff league. LOL. Looks like my man's paying attention. Bob, we'll kick it off with you today.
This is a flex question, which is absurd. And I don't think I'm sitting Derrick Henry.
He needs a running back.
Oh,
You need
so
a
running back, wide receiver, and a flex.
Yeah.
So there it goes, right over my head, everybody. Yeah, I am gonna go Henry, Walker, Kirk.
I'm gonna do I'm going Walker in the rain, Olave and Kirk.
I would never sit Henry. I'm going Henry, Olave, and Walker.
The best player on that list right now with matchups, without a doubt, it's not close, is Christian Kirk. That's the must start in this list.
I would disagree. I think it's Ridley. I think Ridley will out target Kirk today simply because when Trevor Lawrence is pressured, Ridley is like 23.9% target share. He gets the higher target share.
You could not be more right in being wrong. Christian Kirk, it's the slot. Gladys is wrong. Welcome to the show. She should go back and get a nap. This is Christian Kirk Sunday. Maybe you didn't see that when you checked in. We had notes, internal team notes that said Kirk is going to go off.
Let's put a little money on that. You want to?
We can't. It's illegal in Texas for me to bet. Otherwise, I would.
Oh, let's bet alcohol. Is it legal to bet alcohol?
Which it sounds like maybe you shouldn't be doing that again.
I say. That's what I say.
Sky, is it possible that Gladys?
Yeah, it's a premature raise of
Yeah,
the
she
roof.
raised
Absolutely.
the roof. Bob doesn't, but Gladys does.
Yeah, I love to see that.
I forgot to tell you guys.
I'm going to stick with.
Sorry to cut you off, Scott. And this is completely random. And I'm just gonna, before I forget, I bought pears. So I do have pears.
Yes.
And we're gonna do it on the Tuesday show. All right, because I want Derek to be there. Gladys has no idea what I'm talking about right now.
So. That's okay. It's all right.
You know.
I'm excited.
I bought them, and they're in house. So Tuesday, the Tuesday live show will feature pears, and we're very excited for that.
They're ripening up. It's going to be amazing, Bob. Amazing.
Can't wait.
All right, viewers, if you know what we're talking about with the pear, please drop a pear emoji in the comment just so we know how many people know what we're talking about here. I'm going to stick with the running backs as well. I'm going to go Henry, Walker, and I'm going to stick with Matt on this one. I'm going to go Christian Kirk. I do think it's a shootout there with Jacksonville and San Francisco. Next question, how about a DST here between the Raiders versus the Jets, the Bucks versus the Titans, the Vikings versus the Saints? Bob?
I'm going Raiders here.
Maddie?
I just added the Raiders. I dropped Logan Thomas, and I'm starting the Raiders over the Browns.
Raiders.
All right. And Gladys, of course, has the DST-focused defensive article each week on football.razzball.com, so you can check out those sexy defenses. I'm going to go Raiders as well. And I believe that's a quad box. Is that correct?
That's 4.
All right.
And by the way, did the over-under, the internal Razzball expert over-under, Max Crosby sacks is 2.5.
Over.
That's
3.
the line.
I'm going to take 2.
I'm going over.
Gladys, you want in on this?
2.5 sacks Max against the Jets O-line. I'm going to go under 2.5. That means he has to get 3 or a half.
All right. It's time, Bob. Can we just send Gladys back to bed?
I haven't been to bed, so I can't be going back to bed.
You can't go back to something you never been a part of. All right.
Come on now, get it together, man.
I want every person on the show not to sleep the night before. Those shows would be 20 times better. So.
Oh man. All right. Bob, we're gonna go right to you here with the kicker question. We got Aubrey or Patterson, Lions, Cowboys kickers.
My underrated kicker start of the week is Jason Myers, Seattle kicker versus Washington. That's why I'm also in panic mode hearing about the rain. So as long as guys tell me that's fine, I really like that. But actually, number 4 on my list is Brandon Aubrey. So I'm going to go Aubrey in this one. If you don't want to pick up Jason Myers because of the rain, I like Aubrey a lot this week.
All right, great. Patricio, appreciate you always. Thank you for tuning in, and best of luck in week 10 if we don't hear from you again this morning. Okay, Cody is back. Pick 3, full PPR. Addison, Kincaid, Laporta, James Cook, James Conner, and Jahmyr Gibbs. So we're just picking 3 in full PPR. Bob?
Pick 3. Addison, Kincaid, Laporta, James Cook.
Full PPR, Bob, as opposed to 2-point PPR, which Sky and I will be hosting that league next year.
Yeah.
Man, I really like Kincaid. Yeah, Connor Gibbs. I really wonder what's going to happen with that split with David Montgomery back. Like, I could really see Gibbs just taking a full second, a number 2 option, but I'm not going to sit him yet. Gibbs, Connor. Give me Laporta. Laporta, Connor, Gibbs.
It's absolutely Kincaid, Laporta, and Gibbs. I want to see something from Kyler before I trust him and Connor.
Kincaid, Laporta, and Addison.
Man, I've done it in 2 leagues. I'm sitting James Cook. I actually sat James Cook for Deonta Foreman on Thursday, and so far that's worked out. Seemingly a plus matchup, but Leonard Fournette should be involved here, so I agree there. I don't trust James Conner yet, so that eliminates that. So I'm going to go Kincaid, Laporta, and Gibbs as well. But David Montgomery is back, so let's just temper our expectations there, potentially in Detroit. Quarterback question here, Derek Carr, Kyler Murray. We're going to get a lot of Kyler Murray's kicking up here, and James Conner, I'm sure. Bob?
Cody, I got the same issue, and I'm not going to start Kyler his first game back. If I have any competent quarterback, I'm going to go with them. And Derek Carr's competent, playing Minnesota. That's not a scary matchup, so I'm going to go Derek Carr.
Derek Carr for me as well. I'm all out on Kyler Murray.
He's a great stash.
Yeah, glad to see as well.
But he's a great stash. Kyler Murray's a great player.
People want to think he's a great stash. The last time we saw him, he was one of the worst quarterbacks in the league. He couldn't scramble. He couldn't throw. Everything was a duck. No offense to the University of Oregon. He was not good. He was really, really bad.
Well,
yes.
I could look that up right now because I don't think for fantasy football he was bad. I think maybe for NFL purposes he was bad, but like fantasy football, he was. Let's see, I'm pulling it up right now because I'm curious because these are the production he had in the last 4 weeks: 19, 30, 23, and 29, and then he got hurt. So
solid.
It might have been ugly for NFL purposes, but for fantasy football. And plus the Cardinals defense is not as big. They're starting to let up points a lot more now. So I think there could be, it's not a week 1 thing. It's like the Deshaun Watson thing, right? It takes some, and well, for Deshaun Watson, it probably takes longer, but Kyler, it's going to take a few weeks. But if you don't have a quarterback right now, let's say you've been streaming quarterbacks, I think you could do worse than stashing Kyler. I'm not playing him this week, but that upside, especially look how good Josh Dobbs did early on in the year with this coaching staff, with these skill position players. So I think there's a chance they could be a low-end QB1 during playoffs.
Can I be real honest?
Go for it.
You guys might have to put on earmuffs. I don't like bitch players. And Kyler Murray acts like a bitch, right? You define bitch however you want. But if I'm wrong, strike me down now. But I don't appreciate guys that have that amount of talent and they just want to be a bitch about everything. So I'm out on Kyler Murray, and that's my personal take. Not professional, nice. Even though it's sometimes kind of professional. It's about as unprofessional as a personal take can get. Is that fair?
Yep.
Fair. Gladys, are you going Derek Carr as well?
Yes, sir.
All right. Likewise, let's go another 4
box. Gladys is back. She's coming around. Got a little coffee flowing, right? I've got the pear up, so she's obviously salivating at the fact that maybe she's got a pear hidden in her kitchen that she can get some of the natural sugars. into her system and perk up for the day.
Love that.
Yeah, I think it's the fact that right before she started talking, you were like, "He's a bitch," and she's just like, I'm just trying to get through this question. I'm just trying to get out of here right now.
Oh my God.
Bill Dino is back. Bill, good morning. Thank you, and thank you for the correction on the name last week. Bill Dino, like Reno, can't forget it. All right, sit one in PPR. Bob will kick off with you. DK Olave, Tank Dell.
Sit one. Oh shit. Shit, dude. I guess no Nico Collins. Yeah, I guess I would sit Olave.
Oof.
Don't love it.
I'm probably sitting DK.
Sitting DK.
Same. Yep. DK's in my trade away article this week.
Bob is playing with his heart.
Start
Bob's
of the
playing
week,
the
baby.
matchup.
One of my start of the weeks.
Bob's playing the matchup. I get it. Not for me. Talked about it in my article. I'm out. I like how Bill put in DK Olave. Obviously, one player names, no problem, and then goes Tank Dell, as in the other tank. I respect that.
Could have been Bigsby.
It could be Bigsby.
Nope, not Bigsby.
Nope, there's only one tank.
Checking in here. Also, I want to say we're not going to give updates. Most of you are probably watching the Germany game here with the Colts and Patriots. We're not going to talk about it much during this live show. I just want to give a hot take that the Patriots will not attempt another pass the rest of this game. I'm pretty sure it's going to happen.
Will Minshew complete another pass the rest of this game?
No, I mean,
he'll try.
Mac Jones just won't throw anymore the rest of this game. Okay, who are we starting here? Najee Harris or Shakir? Wow. How about Najee falling to the Shakir area in full PPR, Bob?
I am going to go. I'm going to go Najee still. Green Bay's going to be without Quay Walker today. I think that's something. And I'm going to go Najee.
Yeah. I'm going Najee too, but I don't like any of this. I would almost want to look at the waiver wire as opposed to starting one of these two.
Najee's averaging 15 touches a game. No Quay Walker. I'm going Najee.
I mean, to be fair, Buffalo is a slot funnel defense. I mean, Denver is a slot funnel defense. So they do allow more fantasy points, percentage of their fantasy points to the slot than league average. So there is something there with Shakir. But I think Najee's going to get enough volume to get it done for you.
I think that means a lot more for Dalton Kincaid, personally, for that over the middle area. Jamie, good morning as well. Beach with another question here. We got a couple in a row. Joe Burrow, Kyler Murray. We know where Matt stands. Gladys, how about yourself?
Hey, do we know if Chase is playing or not? Is Chase in or out?
Chase
trending towards playing.
Jamar Chase.
Jamar Chase is in.
Yeah,
He's in?
Jamar Chase is playing.
Yeah, I'm gonna go Burrow over Murray.
Bob.
Burrow, forget about it, baby. Boy's gonna
and I think we love Beach, right? He really Beach, should take.
Correct.
He should take a demerit for this question. So I put it to the panel. I'm one vote for a demerit. Bob.
That's because you're the get off my lawn guy this morning. You're
the
get off my lawn guy.
I don't even own a lawn, and Matt would tell people to get off the lawn. There's no lawn to get off.
There's no lawn to get off of.
So let me be real honest. I'm suffering day 2. If you've ever had it, you know how awful it is from vertigo.
Oh yeah.
Vertigo.
And so I am. Speaking of being a bitch, I'm being one. It's the wife went out of town. She's back in Tampa, hanging out with family. And I was good through the morning. 7:30 this morning, I rolled over. It happened again. So here I am holding on to everything when I walk through the house to try to make sure that I can stand up straight. But here I am.
See,
right?
You should start drinking. Then you just have to lay down. You don't have to worry about holding on to anything.
It's a really good idea.
I know,
so
right?
Gladys, we're back.
Yeah. Gladys is ready to roll. I appreciate that. I'm going to go Burrow as well. I do think Chase is more of a decoy today. I'm just going to throw it out there. Bob, you were looking for deep throws in the DST category, one of my deep options, if you're streaming wide receiver for some reason this week with a lot on bye, Trenton Irvin for
Yes, I love you.
Bengals.
Yep.
Yeah, I think that's my guy today. And look, it might be like 4 targets for 2 yards, but it might be 140 yards and 2 touchdowns. So
he balled
Trenton
out last
Irvin
time
in a
Higgins was
DST
out.
play would be for me.
Yes.
He did. Absolutely. 10 targets. So I like that a lot. Beach has another one. Run the ball with Jackson Smith and Jigba, or instead of Kenneth Walker. Oh, that's just a comment. Appreciate that. Sorry. I'm trying to read ahead here with all these questions. Richard is in here, standard league. So, Bob, this is actually a league where you don't get any points at all. So we're looking for Deontay Johnson and Calvin Ridley in standard.
I'm still going Ridley this week.
Even
if no one scores points, even no points for anybody, I'm still going to go Ridley.
In standard, I'd go Ridley because Deontay's not getting into the end zone like ever, except one time in the last 2 years.
He did last week.
One time last 2 years. Exactly.
Matt?
You have to start a streak with one Deontay for me.
Okay, got it. Got to start a streak with 1. I love that. Perfect.
You can use that,
All
Sky.
right.
That one's free.
Love it. Look at this. I mean, folks.
Oh, Jamie.
We're gonna take a quick pause here. All right. This is the definition of a good clubhouse guy. All right. I mean, just comes in, sets the tone. The vibes are high right off the bat. Doesn't have any start sits. You know why? Because he's crushing all of his leagues. So we appreciate it.
Now.
He shouts out to our Canadian friends over the border and all of our friends over the border. Our huge Germany fan base tuning in.
He lives in
obviously
Cleveland.
Flipping the channel. Well,
yeah.
Okay, hold on. For us on the West Coast, Cleveland is pretty much Canada, so we're counting that absolutely. That is definitely
that's fair.
That definitely counts.
That's fair.
Oh, all right. Okay, Lindorphins. Good morning, regular. Keep waffling. Great. Let's see. That's an adjective, I believe, or is that a verb? Is waffling a verb?
It is now.
Keep waffling between Singletary versus the Bengals and Algier versus the Arizona Cardinals. Half PPR. Any strong convictions? We're going to switch it up a little bit here. So Gladys, we're going to kick it off to you. Then we're going to go to Matt, and then we're going to go to Bob here. So what are you thinking here? We're looking to stream in RB2-ish. What are you thinking, Gladys?
I'm thinking that if Arthur Smith was logical, I would go Algier because he's been getting in the ball, but he's not. So I'm going to go. Damian Pierce is out. I'm going to go Singletary. I mean, I'm going to go Singletary versus Cincinnati.
Oof.
I know, but
Matt,
I don't trust Arthur Smith.
So
I trust Arthur Smith that way, the Algier way, which is ridiculous.
The appropriate, right? The NFL answer is Pierce is out, Singletary, but Arthur Smith factor says that we all need Bijan to roll today. Everybody's on Bijan today, right? Tuesday show, you guys just laid into me about Bijan because I was over it. DFS, everybody's on Bijan. So I'm going to say that it's going to be Algier because Arthur Smith is that guy, right? He's just built different, as the kids say. He's built different in a negative way.
Great.
So it's Algier for me because it's the wrong answer, but Arthur Smith will make it his right answer.
I agree. Algier for me.
That's science, really. I mean,
I think the other aspect of this too is that the Cardinals' run defense is just, you want to start running backs against the Cardinals anyway. We have seen multiple teams be able to support 2 backs against the Cardinals. So I think in that case, I think they're going to lean on the run anyway. And the first game back with Kyler, I think a lot of us are tempering expectations there a little bit. So I think that they're going to have plenty of opportunities. The game will be close enough where they can run a bunch, even with Bijan and Tyler Algier. And whether we like it or not, Algier's the goal line guy. That's what he's the hammer. So if anybody's going to score, it's probably Algier. So I'm going to go him there.
Excellent. I agree. And Jamie has a great suggestion here, Bob. Can you let us know what the slot versus wide tool is all about?
Yeah, that's I don't know. I've heard of this, but apparently some mad scientists in the back lab of the Razzball, whatever you want to call our dungeon, decided I'm tired of hearing about how many fantasy points a defense allows and no one breaks it up by slot versus wide, because you know what? Some teams allow a lot of fantasy points to slot receivers or interior guys, and some guys allow a lot of fantasy points out wide. Well, good. You know what the good thing was? I decided, we're going to do this, and we break out fantasy points allowed by defense in the slot versus out wide. So if you go to football.razzball.com, you click on that fantasy.com. .com. If you go to .com, you don't want to go there, by the way. It's very weird. Things get weird. Go to football.razzball.com and you click on the fantasy data tab. We actually break out how many fantasy points a defense allows to the slot versus out wide, but we also break out how many fantasy points a wide receiver scores in the slot versus out wide. And the best part too is we've decided to give you rest of season strength of schedule. So if you go over there, you get all that information. It's great for trade targets and trade aways, and you can find out which defenses, which the best rest of season schedules. We do it all because we wanted to take it a step further for you, and it's free with a capital F, because I accidentally hit the control button when I hit free, and now it just says capital F everywhere. But you guys are going to enjoy it. You'll love it. Go check it out on football.razzball.com.
Thanks, Jamie.
So what does your slot versus wide say, Ridley versus Kirk?
Let's pull it up. It's probably
out wide is 65%, slot is 30%.
Yeah, it's leans slightly out wide, but so league average. So the San Francisco 49ers, by the way, this data on the site is from week 4 on. So we're starting to narrow it down to get more trends. So we do 6 weeks instead of the full season. So over the last 6 weeks, the 49ers, they're probably in the top 2 or 3 in fantasy points allowed to wide receivers specifically. So for whatever reason, the 49ers defense has been allowing a lot of fantasy points. So it's everywhere. But the other thing is, with Zay Jones has been out most of the season, Kirk has been getting more production out wide. So he's able to he's actually, with Zay Jones out, Jamal Agnew plays a little more, and he's a primary slot guy. So I think Kirk is good, and I Ridley as well. I think they're both solid plays. Because I personally think the 49ers are going to come out and they're going to just dominate offensively. I think with Debo, Trent Williams back, I think the 49ers are going to put up crazy points against Jacksonville, and then Jacksonville's going to have to do what they do and just try to keep it in the game. And I think that's going to involve a lot of catches for Kirk and Ridley.
Debo is stealing necklaces today.
Yes. Nice.
Debo's my boy. I love it.
Even on a Sunday. Love that.
He's not getting fired on his day off.
No. That's, none of us can control that. Hopefully Isaac won't be either when he starts the Cincinnati defense today. What do you think?
I'm doing it. Just do it with me. I got to do it. I'm doing it. I don't want to. I would prefer. I think myself, Matt, and Derek all have Cleveland as our DFS play this week.
Good. That's great for me.
Those games are always low scoring, if you will. I think that game's going to be low scoring. I actually think I'm going to go Cleveland over Cincinnati personally.
Gladys?
Cleveland defense over
all right.
Cincinnati.
Maddie too. Yeah. All right. That's a 3-pack. I'm going to go with the I don't like the Bengals at all. I just hate the Browns today. So
Whoa. What do you mean you don't like the Bengals at all? Like, there's people out here who are desperate. I need to know, who's your desperation play then? If Falcons are gone, Raiders are gone.
Well, okay. Now I got to look at my let me look at my bottom 20 DSTs then to make sure.
That's what I like to hear, baby.
Oh my God. All right, give me a second. I'll pull these up here. Let's move on and I'll get back to you. Let's talk about Matt. This is looks like it's Billiam Jones checking in, but who is this?
Who?
It's Billiam Jones. Yeah. Looking for Stroud or Geno. Stroud or Geno?
Stroud.
Maddie?
Who's going? Who are we doing?
You.
Oh, yay. I say Stroud.
I'm actually going to go Geno, unless if Sky's telling me it's clear skies there. I'm going Geno. Geno's
I don't think he said that.
I don't think he meant no rain. I meant no rain.
No.
Okay, I'm blurry again.
60 plus chance of rain, not no rain. 60% chance is no rain for people in Seattle. But in the real world, that's actually rain. By the way, I left Seattle. Scott, you're going to love this. I finally left Seattle when I was 22-ish. So from 0 to 22, never owned an umbrella.
No, of course. It's a Northwest thing. You can't. It's like that's how you spot the tourists that have umbrellas. It's awkward. Bob, I have to let you know how much I appreciate your optimism today and your manifestation for clear skies in Seattle. I just have to tell you, as much as I'm into the spiritual realms, today's not looking good. So,
okay. First of all, now you're talking out of both sides of your mouth here because you said it's not raining, and so if it's like normal Seattle drizzle or whatever that is, fine. I just need to know, is it impactful enough to prevent me from going all in on Seattle today? I have every Seattle player. I have their accountant starting in my flex today. So I need to know.
For me, it doesn't matter. I don't want Geno. I don't want the Seahawks. I want CJ Stroud in a blizzard over Geno Smith. So it doesn't matter for me.
All right.
Bob, let me get back to you on this.
Yeah, let me jump in here real quick. If you've ever seen the movie with Jack Black, where he goes in as a substitute teacher, right? School of Rock.
Oh yeah.
And he asked about being hungover. So I'm gonna take a little bit of artistic liberty with that movie and say Gladys is not drunk. Gladys was drunk. Bob is drunk. That's the vibe I'm getting right now. And Gladys, maybe you didn't have anything to drink and maybe you didn't sleep. So I'm kind of putting two and two together. Oh, maybe she was out partying, right?
I live in Colorado. I don't need alcohol. We have other means of recreation.
So we'll use yes, we'll use drunken quotes.
Oh, okay, there we go. Yeah. I'm good with that.
But Bob is certainly drunk right now. There's no doubt.
All right, we'll see. I mean, I'm sorry, but like the Washington Commanders defense is atrocious now against the pass. They are the best matchup probably for quarterbacks at this point. They got rid of their entire defensive line ends by see you later. And so Geno's not good. I'm not saying Geno's been good this year, but to be honest with you, if they can't get it done against the Washington Commanders, we're in trouble. So
they're gonna run the football. Your Kenneth Walker start is gonna be fine. I'll leave it at that. In fact, if you want to stream a defense, go stream the Seahawks.
Seahawks are gone. I'm telling you, like it's me. I'm actually one of the options for waiver wire right now. Like it's me and like like just random teams. Like there's literally college football teams options. That's what I have here. So
not Colorado. You don't take the Buffaloes, right, Sky?
Correct. Bob, I got a couple through here. Whether they're available or not is regardless. Let me just throw some names at you. I like the Vikings a bit at home versus the Saints. I would deal with the Lions on the road versus my Chargers. I would also go the other way. Maybe the Chargers pass rush. I don't think that's a great matchup at all, but if you're desperate, you could go that way. And then maybe the Arizona Cardinals versus the Atlanta Falcons, just because Arthur Smith might give us a bone and Arizona's at home. So if you're desperate, maybe go the other way. Jacksonville doesn't sound available, but maybe go that way. And, Houston versus Cincinnati might be surprising as well without Jamar Chase. But obviously those are all bad options, and we don't want any of that. I'm going to go Stroud on this. Derek Favret is ready for Tuesday and showing out on the pairs. And also, more importantly, J-Mom going hard on the pairs. Love to see that. Shouts out to J-Mom. Catch us on Tuesday evening when we do another quad box. We recap the weekend, and then Bob tries a pair for the first time in his life.
And Sky, Jones. The pair background is available for you if you want to double up on the pair background. It's available.
No, I appreciate that. I might next week. The Niners are 0-3 as far as I'm concerned, so we're going to turn it around this week. I've been traveling a lot, still traveling, but I was able to pull up the candlestick background here, so I'm going to stick with that. RAP candlestick for the OGs, but I gotta get a rally here. Got to get an OG, 70s, 80s, 90s rally here. So Billiam Jones is back. We need to flex PPR. We got Warren, Reed, and Musgrave Yikes. Gladys?
I'm going to go Jaylen Warren. He's had 33 targets. He's like 4th, 5th of running backs in targets per game. I'm going to go Warren out of those 3. Plus, like you said, Green Bay Packers defense is decimated.
Maddie?
Same for me, Warren. Are you going to go with Geno Smith here, Bob?
Well, obviously, if he was an option, I would. Jaylen Warren's fine. Sure, go with Jaylen Warren.
Or DJ Dallas.
Yeah,
Maybe that's an option, Bob.
Matt, you say this as a joke, but to be honest with you, I don't know what to tell you at this point. I'm locked in. I'm locked in emotionally. You can say what you want. You can poke fun, but when I turn on the TV later today and it's downpouring in Seattle, I'm going to send a very, very stern letter to Sky Glasgow. Very stern.
Okay.
And
also,
when it arrives, it's going to be covered in plastic so it doesn't get any wetness on it, so he can read every word. All right.
Just a reminder that the weather in the mountains up here in the Northwest changes every 10 minutes. So we got a little saying. If you don't like the weather, wait 10 minutes. So we'll see what happens there. I'm going to go Jaylen Warren as well, just because I don't like either of the other options. I love Musgrave in general, but he just can't stay in for a whole game. Beach is boots on the ground in Jacksonville. Cloudy and muggy means a lot of Brandon Ayuk today. Love to see that. Jamie just confirmed. This is perfect. Jamie confirms Cleveland is in Canada. So we're set up there as well. All right, and Billiam Jones is back for another one. If Chase sits, Irv Johnson worth a pickup, or Irv Smith, excuse me. Irv Smith worth a pickup. I like this one. I am starting Irv Smith in a league. Dallas Goedert was out. He's hurt now, and then I have Kittle on a bye. So I'm or coming off the bye, but I don't trust him with Debo back. So going Irv Smith here on a dart throw. Gladys, would you pick up Irv Smith here? Chase is obviously not sitting, but in general, would you stream Irv Smith this week if necessary, tight end?
I wouldn't, only because, the Burrow throws to the tight end position like one of like the 4th, 5th less. No, I think it's going to go. I think it's going to be an Irwin, Boyd, Mixon day.
Matt?
I like Irv Smith because tight end is a wasteland. So if you need to stream somebody today, and if you're going DFS, I believe he's 27 hundo. So he's a wonderful cheap ad in DFS.
Well, this is worth a pickup to start over who, I guess, would be the question, right? I mean, if you look at it, the Houston Texans are terrible against tight ends. They're also missing some key pieces on defense. The Texans are actually very banged up going into this game, which is why I kind of feel like Cincinnati might kind of punch him in the mouth this week. So I actually do like Irv Smith. Chase is in, by the way. So that's not like he's out. But with no T. Higgins, I like Irv Smith. I think he is a streamable tight end one this week, but it would depend on who you'd be starting him over.
Yeah, I agree. I'm going to go Irv Smith as well. He is my tight end for DFS. I can expect maybe not a big game, but doesn't take much of the tight end position. I think there's an opportunity there potentially as well. Jamie, you want to give a shout out to him and our good friends at Going for Two. So shouts out to Jamie for always supporting our program. So we appreciate that. If you're looking for some fresh content, go ahead and check those guys out as well. Enjoy your Sunday as well, buddy. And bundle up there in Canada. It's absolutely freezing this time of year. Billiam Jones coming in hot this morning. PPR, Cook, Flowers. We're going to go with James Cook or Flowers, flex PPR. Gladys.
Flowers is dead to me, so it has to be Cook. Flowers is dead to me. I picked him 2 weeks in a row, and he's done nothing. James Cook is a much better option, but Flowers is dead. He's dead. Sorry.
Matt?
Yeah, that was angry.
It was coming down. Yeah. I might have to take a break here in a second and come back.
You know what? Get off Gladys's lawn now, all right? Everybody get off everybody's lawn.
I'm just saying we may want to make sure there's a vape pen close for Gladys.
Sweetheart, you don't have to worry about that. Trust me.
She's obviously coming down because she called me sweetheart. So yeah, she's coming down quick.
Oh yeah.
I'm sitting Flowers in my personal home league. I don't have a lot of faith in Cook, but I think I would give Cook the nod this week based on the Cleveland defensive backs and Myles Garrett on defense there. So I don't love it, but give me Cook. And by the way, I was so high, no pun intended, Gladys, on Cook going into the season. It's just not working out. So this is probably the make or break for Cook to be even flex worthy.
I'm with you, man. I was exactly the same. Bob, what's your thoughts here?
If it's James Cook, not Brandon Cooks, I actually think James Cook is actually a startable play this week. Denver, they are number 1 in our matchup rank for adjusted line yards. So I'm not fading Cook at all this week. If you have him and I think he's going to be a good RB2.
Yeah, I'm going to go Cook in this particular situation as well. The matchup. So, okay, we mentioned earlier puppies. Shouts out to our pups. We mentioned at the top of the show, Lamar Jackson is playing out of his mind. Absolutely fabulous. All the way to the end zone. And then a running back is getting it in. So it's not worked out for the wide receivers, Mark Andrews, whatever. But the matchup on top of that with Cleveland as an elite secondary, I don't love for the pass catching weapons. So hard to sit Lamar and Mark Andrews, obviously, but I can't get away from Zay Flowers personally. So I also am going to go James Cook. And I'm hoping it's a bounce back too versus Denver. They're hideous against the run, but we'll see what happens there. Micah checking in, half PPR, need 1, Devin Singletary, Jerome Ford, Najee Harris. Gladys?
I'm sorry. Why are they singing West Virginia at the Germany game? I don't
They're doing a lot of weird shit over there. Okay. A lot of weird shit.
Half PPR, Derek. Ooh. Yeah. I'm gonna have to go. Yikes. Najee just on volume alone. I don't like the Baltimore Cleveland game. I think it's going to be an ugly, low scoring game because it's AFC North against each other, and both defenses are actually really good. So I have to go Najee. I think that he has the best path to your half PPR. Singletary, I want to go with him, but I'm not.
I don't ever start Devin Singletary. I just, if you've ever started, like I said last week, if you drafted him or traded for him or picked him up off the wire and started him, you know what it feels like to have a 0 in your lineup or a 3 in your lineup, right when you needed 5. So no Singletary for me. I kind of like Ford in this matchup, but or in this decision, but I don't like him against Baltimore. So by default, I'm going with the defense that's knocked around right now and go with Najee. But I temper every expectation. I don't think Najee is going to bring that. He's not going to be your game winner. He's just going to be a guy you hope to get 10 points from, 9 points from, and hope that your team can win.
Bob?
Yeah. Man, oh man. This is like I'm looking at all the metrics, so I'm like, all right, well, there's got to be someone that stands out, and it's not really the case. Houston technically would be the best matchup, I guess, out of all 3 of these guys, but Singletary just was so bad last week. I mean, he had 13 carries for 26 yards and 2 catch. By the way, he had 2 catches though for 0 yards, so that's 2 points in PPR, folks. That's awesome. But I am gonna go Najee Harris today.
So are we getting off Bob's yard too? Right? Why is he raging against the PPR machine? It's not going to work, Bob. You're going to lose.
Oh, I've already converted all my rankings that I posted. PPR, I don't even bother anymore because people like PPR. I'm okay with that. I have my personal opinion, and that's fine.
You're not okay with it.
But I think it's insane that we give a full point for a 0-yard catch, but neither here or there.
Apparently, it's versus.
It is
versus.
It actually it's actually either here or here. No, I meant in the sense of picking a running back. picking a running back, Scott.
In half PPR, you still get half a point for that 0-yard catch. So why not just get a point?
Because, okay, all right, let's do this. We're doing this. No, we're going to do this now. You wanted to do this? We're doing it. This is on you, okay? Because think about this.
I'm going to watch the game.
Go ahead. Watch the game. That's 7-6 right now, okay? It's awesome in like fourth quarter. Anyway, my point is, so if a guy catches a football for 0 yards, he gets a point, right? And then a running back on the same next play gets an 8-yard carry, which, by the way, if you average 8 yards per carry, you're in the Hall of Fame. If you average 6 yards per carry for your career, you're in the Hall of Fame. You're a Hall of Famer. You're the best of the best of the best, okay? A wide receiver who catches 10 catches for 0 yards is not going to the Hall of Fame. He'll probably be dropped the next week. He'll be on waivers. So why is it we would reward a player more points that would be cut in most teams than a Hall of Famer? That's my argument. Okay.
Yeah, sure. Fair. The issue is here, it's the opportunity with the running backs too, right? Like any competent running back is going to get, let's say, 15 to 20 touches. There's only about 4 wide receivers that would even have an opportunity for 15 something targets. Yes, you get the yardage and all that as well, but if you're getting the PPR points, first of all, more points is more fun in leagues. And Bob, some of us play fantasy football for fun. And I can't tell you how horrendous it is to play standard leagues where you have a guy go off. And I hate final scores in a league where you have like a great week and it's like 95-93. And that's like the league high score. I can't handle it. If we're not doing arguing 150s to 180s, like it just doesn't make sense.
It's first of all, it's half PPR, it's PPR, and then it's standard. I think standard's the worst. I am not advocating standard. I think PPR is closer to half. So I'm not arguing for standard. Standard is the most boring format, and I do think you should get rewarded for a catch because a catch is hardest. You're handing the ball off is a lot easier to hold on to that football and run for 5 yards than it is to catch a pass in the NFL. So I do think you should get rewarded for a half a point. That's what I think is logical. That's all.
I don't know about that. If anybody watched Caleb Williams and the USC Trojans try to play last night, handing off the ball is not that easy. Go Ducks.
Didn't look that easy.
All right, we got the QB, Tua and Dak on the bench. Dak's start this week. Laporta, Taysom Hill. So Dak is the start this week. I don't know why you would.
Yeah. Just trying to confuse us.
Tua and Dak are the quarterbacks. Yes. Dak is the start this week. So let's forget that. Laporta, Taysom Hill is the tight end question. Gladys?
Man, Taysom Hill is like, it's like a cheat card when he's on and he's like the dud when he's not, and you don't want to sit him. And how about Laporta gets a lot of volume? I'm gonna go. If you are looking for a high ceiling, I would go Taysom Hill. If you want to stay floor, go Laporta. What?
I'm gonna stay away from the potential volatility and go with Laporta.
Yeah, Taysom Hill's like the fun. Hey, if you're just throwing a dart at the board anyway, Taysom Hill's the good play. But Sam Laporta is more than a dart throw. He's a tight end one. So I'm going to go Sam Laporta.
Bob, would you say that Sam Laporta is maybe more of a bowling strike than a dart throw?
Well, I would say it's more of a layup. Maybe like I would say a layup in basketball. A strike is pretty hard in bowling. It's not that easy
if you don't know what you're doing. Well, let's move on here.
Perfect.
Micah, also curious here. Yes, Matt, would you like to chime in on bowling?
I feel like I showed up dizzy, and it's just exacerbated by the conversation. So
you should show up high, and it doesn't bother you.
We went around and around with the PPR again. So that means Tuesday, Bob's going to gripe and bitch about PPR while eating the pears. It's just going to sour the entire pear discussion. So, Sky, as the host, I would like you to take PPR discussion off the table for Tuesday.
I will remove, since we've covered it, I will remove PPR from the docket on Tuesday. We will not be talking about that anymore. However, next year, I'd like to give our Razzball listeners a heads up. Matt and I will be hosting a 2 PPR league. Feel free to sign up early for that one, and we'll get it rolling for those of you that are looking for points and to have fun. Micah Gust is back, half PPR. Need 2 wide receivers: Garrett Wilson, Hollywood Brown, Tyler Lockett, and Amari Kakope.
It's French.
Wow. I want to say Tyler Lockett just to make Bob feel better, and I think he might be good. You're welcome. And the other one, I don't trust Zach Wilson. I'm going to go Hollywood Brown. Hollywood Brown, I'm going Hollywood Brown. His stats aren't that bad with what we presume is a lesser quarterback, although I don't know Josh Dobbs is a lesser quarterback than he's going to have now. And him and Kyler did have some chemistry. So I'm going to go Brown and Lockett.
I'm going to go Lockett for Bob. And I'm going to go Garrett Wilson for volume because I don't trust Kyler, period. But I also want to see him play for a week. Gladys is right, though. If you are comfortable with Kyler, and a lot of people seem to be, then his number one option is absolutely Hollywood Brown. But I'm going to go with Garrett Wilson volume and Tyler Lockett and stay away from the Cleveland defensive backfield.
Yeah, I can.
I'm going to go Lockett and Brown. Sorry, this guy.
Yeah, boy. I'll go Wilson and Lockett as well. Bob, quick update here. Boots on the ground plus the internet. The game's at 1 o'clock Pacific time. 53 degrees up until 4 o'clock. Light showers, partly cloudy. At 4 o'clock, we're going to get for real rain. So you're hoping that the fourth quarter is not a mess, but you might escape. Nonetheless, I don't trust the Seahawks. So that's my latest update.
Oh, so you're saying that for like the first 3 quarters, it's good. And then right around the end of the game, it's going to be a downpour.
Yeah. Cool. So if your boy Gino doesn't do work, which he won't in the first 3 quarters, then it's all Ken Walker after that. And Jason Myers might be a little risque. We'll see what happens. AJ is in. Good morning, everyone. Last week, we ended the show asking about a potential running back trade in my 14-team. Okay, we've been working on this 14-teamer all season. 14-teamer for Hopkins or Evans. He ended up trading Hopkins for Bijan. So gets Bijan, gets rid of Hopkins. I like that personally. Hoping for the best. Just quick thoughts around the table. Do we like the trade? Do we not like the trade? I know we went in on Bijan last week, whatever. We don't know what's going to happen today. Very plus matchup for him. Just in a vacuum, hypothetically high volume running back, aging wide receiver. How do we feel about it? Gladys, we'll go to you first.
Is it a dynasty you said, or just redraft?
No, redraft 14-team PPR.
I like it. I mean, again, if you could trust Arthur Smith, that is a winnable trade. But I like it. I think you came out on top on that one.
Yeah, I love it. We talked about it at the very end of the show. I think he had a third receiver too, right? Evans, Hopkins, maybe there was a third. We all leaned for Hopkins if he's going to make the deal to hold Evans. So yeah, I'm all about it. I love it. And my apologies now for what Arthur Smith will do to Bijan Robinson today, AJ, but I shouldn't be apologizing for an NFL head coach, but I am because I just don't know that it's going to happen. I want it to happen really, really bad, right? So we'll see.
Folks, believe it or not, Matt is sentimental and does have feelings, and we are feeling for him and Bijan Robinson rosters. So hopefully it'll turn around. I want to give a 5-minute heads up for Bob, and I want to give a countdown to everybody else here. In about 5 minutes, top of the hour, 9 a.m. Pacific, noon Eastern, we're going to be switching gears for a second. The rest of us are going to take a 10-minute break. Bob's going to jump on in the solo box per usual and give a full week breakdown for injuries. We've gone over some of the weather stuff, but we're going to go over injuries. That's not just fantasy players. That's defensive linemen. That's cornerbacks. That's offensive linemen, right? That's coaching changes, whatever. Bob's got the full injury report coming up to you live at the top of the hour in about 5 minutes. So if you specifically have injury questions about anything, maybe you're worried about the workload for, let's say, Jamar Chase, who is playing but might be limited, make sure you drop that in the comments now so Bob can prep for those. But that will be up in the next about 5 minutes or so. So make sure you get those questions ready to go. We'll take a break, and then, of course, we'll be back for the rest of the show thereafter. So drop in your questions. And we want to welcome everybody. I see some new names in the chat who haven't been with us so far. Sport Lort, of course. We got a couple other folks tuning in as well. We just want to welcome everybody in. Good morning and happy week 10. You're live here on the Razzball Fantasy Football YouTube show. Make sure to smash that button and subscribe. And of course, you can catch all of our handles that we will show you here in just a second. Once again, once Bob gets going here. A couple more questions and we're going to turn Bob loose. Sports Lord, PPR, Pickens or Noah Brown? Noah Brown stepped in mightily last week and had a great game. We'll see if he can do it again with Nico Collins out. Pickens or Noah Brown? This is PPR position here, Gladys.
Noah Brown. Pickens' target share, his catches have gone down at least by half since Deontay got back, and you just can't trust that kid. Noah Brown, without a doubt.
Pickens, but the real answer is Noah Brown. So the real world would never have you start Noah Brown over Pickens, but you have to at this point. Pickens is he's disenfranchised. He bitched and moaned. We talked about it last week. He stripped himself of all of the social media stuff from Pittsburgh. So, and I think his last social media post was "Free me." So he's going Keyshawn Johnson, Antonio Brown, Terrell Owens right now. Give me Noah Brown.
Man, love the Keyshawn drop. Throw me the damn ball. Love that.
Throw me the damn ball,
Bob. Anyway, I am going to go Pickens. I can't. Matt's got a headache. He's fighting through for us, so I'm just trying to. I threw him through the pass. You know what I mean? I was trying to help him out. Anyway,
no, it was a decent throw. I'd expect a little. That was kind of a Phillip Rivers toss. I'm not going to lie. It was like I'd expect a little more arm, a little more range there.
Present, and I was just trying to. Oh, I can air it out. If I had the space right now. But the last time I would knock this over, we don't want that. And then the missus gets up. I get yelled at live on TV. We can't have this. All right.
Yeah,
so
I'd pay to see it. I would pay to see it.
I know.
Jerry. Okay. All right. We got a couple more questions here. I see them all rolling in. Appreciate you guys. We're going to take a break in just a few minutes here, but get those questions in and we'll be back with you if we don't get to them before then. Billiam Jones just signing off. We want to say thank you, Billiam. Appreciate you for another great Sunday worth of questions. All right, Matt, I believe this is one of your consistent commenters here. Let's see, 1, 2. We have 3 questions left, and we're going to take a quick break here. Besides those trades, what about acquiring one of these names? So Josh Jacobs, Tyreek Hill, brutal matchup, playoff matchup. That is true. I want to give everyone a shout out as well. Probably, let's see, I'm going to say next week. I have been compiling the fantasy playoff metrics, and we're going to be a month out from playoffs next week. So next week, I will be starting to talk about playoff scheduling. A lot of trade deadlines are also next week, so get ahead of those. In your league, I push mine up when I'm the commish to December. I like a little more time to make trades heading into the playoffs, but keep a heads up on your leagues if you have any trades coming up. But we're going to talk about trade matchups and those kind of things. But Tyreek Hill, brutal playoff matchup. I like that. But it's Tyreek. That's true. Puka Nacua. What are we going to get moving forward? Javonte Williams coming on. Madison, Mark Andrews, McLaurin, Myers. So just for the sake of showing this up here, it's a trade question. It's not really a start sit. We've already dealt with all those. Gladys and Matt, what we're going to do here, I want your, let's just say flex. We're going to say PPR. Give me your 3 top players rest of season from this list. 3 top players, rest of season from this list. Gladys, go ahead.
Josh Jacobs, Tyreek Hill, and Mark Andrews.
Matt?
I don't think she's wrong. Really, the only guy I don't love on the list because he is a plotter is Madison. Otherwise, that's a pretty solid roster with Dak or Tua at quarterback. So I'll go with Gladys. I'm good with that.
Because you have Tua, I mean Tyreek's automatic anyway, just because of the ability, obviously. But I like the stack. The only real question mark player here would be, I think Jacoby Myers is sneaky, to be honest with you, and he's cheaper than anybody else on this list. But it's Puka. Like, what version of Puka are we going to get? If we can get a top 15 wide receiver and not a dud, then that might be a steal right now. Bob, we're going through this. Is more of a trade question. It's not start sit. I want to get your top 3 players from this list here. Top 3 players, rest of season PPR. Jacobs, Tyreek, Puka, Javonte, Madison, Andrews, McLaurin, and Myers.
That's a lot. Yeah, I think it's Andrews. It doesn't really. It's more of, if this was like an all flex league, then Andrews is probably more in question. But because of position scarcity, Andrews is a lock. Tyreek Hill, I'm not stressing matchups with Tyreek Hill. The way they use him, not going to worry about matchups with him. And then at least the last one, it's really Javonte, Jacobs, Madison. I'm not going to put in there. McLaurin, Myers. Ooh. Javonte, let me pull up. I'm curious because I have rest of season running back schedules, but I have to pull it up. It is, so we have Denver, no bueno, Minnesota, very good rest of season schedule, interesting. And then the last one would, yeah, and then Josh Jacobs. Good. So I'm going to go Jacobs, Tyreek, Andrews.
Huh, yeah. So that's 3 of us.
Yep. You guys know my stance on Jacobs. I'm a hater, but you want him on your fantasy team right now. So I'm going to go Jacobs, Tyreek, and Andrews as well, which is the automatic. I would love if Puka can get going here, but best of luck. Let us know how that goes down here. And then I want to give a quick shout out a couple other places located in Canada, the Netherlands or Belgium, and also Germany as well. So I want to give a big shout out to our Canadian fam up north. Bob, we're going to step aside, take a quick commercial break. You're going to be in the hot box here in just a couple of minutes. Gladys, feel free to join the hot box if you so choose.
Oh, Mac Jones is terrible.
I told Matt.
I don't know what the hot box is, and it doesn't sound like something I would want to join. So I'm going to just take a break, and I'll be back when you guys come back.
Okay, I'll just tell you this. In high school, the hot box is the place to be. I'm a little older now. I don't, I'm in a different part of my life, but the hot box is definitely the place you wanted to be. I'll put it that way. Bob, we're off the rails entirely this morning. We're going to turn it over to you. You got the next 10 minutes, my man. We're all going to step aside. We got a full injury report. Make sure to check out all of us on our Twitter handles. That's Matty Styles at Styles08. Myself here at Sky Guasco, SKYGUASCO, Bob Lamarco, Bobby Lamarco, LAMARCO, and at Gladys L. Tyler. And of course, Razzball NFL as well. Bob will come back in about 10 minutes, buddy. It's all you.
I would say 5. It's a very short week this week for injuries. There's not as many as there usually are, but let's get into it. First off, a lot of these are the early window too. We have some updates there. And obviously there's a couple guys questionable, but let's just break down some of the key injuries and the matchups that they applied to. So first off, the Arizona Cardinals did get James Conner back this week. So Emery DeMarcado is out. So I expect, even if James Conner in his first game back, should be a monster workload for him, along with Kyler Murray, both back in the lineup in this game. So I'm okay with starting both those guys. Starting James Conner, my apologies, in the matchup. Drake London is back this week. He is dealing with a groin injury. He does have a lower 6 score. Sports Injury Central is sicscore.com, so always go check them out for your injury updates. He is dealing with a groin injury, which should impact his performance, but he has an elite matchup versus the Arizona Cardinals this week, so I like Drake London as a wide receiver 2/3. He's in. Mac Hollins is out. If you're looking for a random DFS dart throw this week, Cardell Hodge has been a productive player with Taylor Heineke. So if you're looking for a DFS dart throw this week, Cardell Hodge might be an option for you. Grady Jarrett on IR. He's done for this season. That's huge for that run defense. That's another feather in the cap for James Conner. D. Alford, the slot cornerback for the Atlanta Falcons, is out today. The Falcons have already struggled against slot receivers. So this season, the number one option in the slot has been Rondale Moore in snaps, but he does not get a lot of targets in the slot. Actually, Marquise Brown is actually tied with Rondale Moore for slot targets this season. So what does this actually mean? I think Rondale Moore is an intriguing DFS dart throw, maybe a very, very deep name in deeper leagues, but I think Marquise Brown, if they move him inside a little bit more, could get some action there. But overall, maybe not as impactful as we once thought. Jair Alexander and Quay Walker are out for the Green Bay Packers. That is big-time news for guys like Deontay Johnson and George Pickens. because the Packers defense is playing a little bit better. Should still be a lower scoring game on the road in Pittsburgh, but that is notable for both Najee Harris, too, with Quay Walker out. Micah Fitzpatrick is out today. That's the safety for the Steelers. That's big news, along with defensive tackle Montravius Adams. So Pittsburgh's dealing with some injuries as well. Honestly, I think that game's still going to be a little bit lower scoring. Maybe you lean more towards the defense, but those are notable defensive injuries. Zay Jones is out again today. I really like Christian Kirk to go along with Calvin Ridley. I'm expecting the 49ers to come out and play very well, which means the Jaguars will have to keep up, and I like that from a PPR standpoint for Christian Kirk especially. Kendra Miller is out today for the Saints. If you have Alvin Kamara, you're obviously starting him. Jamal Williams is probably the handcuff to own for the rest of the season. If you're looking for handcuffs right now, I would lean Jamal Williams over Kendra Miller. Nico Collins, Damian Pierce are both out today. Devin Singletary should have a little more success, but because of these injuries, we got guys. Robert Woods is back in. That means the 3 receiver set will be Robert Woods, Tank Dell, and also be Noah Brown. Sorry, folks. I just saw Josh Downs catch a long pass. I'm like commentating the game. But anyway, so with Nico Collins out, they still have some decent weapons there. Obviously, Tank Dell would be the number 1 option. He's probably close to a solid wide receiver too. Noah Brown is coming off a big game. But remember, last week, that matchup was very good for slot receivers. This week is not. So the Cincinnati Bengals are very good against slot receivers. So Noah Brown is more of a risky start this week. And Robert Woods is still dealing with injuries. So I actually think Tank Dell's the play. With Damian Pierce out, Devin Singletary, if you're really desperate, could be a flex option or a low-end RB2. The Houston Texans defense is dealing with some injuries. There's one of their bigger Henry 20202. I love that name. It's very fun to look at. And Jamie Ward are both out today. That's some news for the Texans defense. Joe Burrow's flying high. Even though with T. Higgins out, we do like some options there as well. Jamar Chase is in officially. Tyler Boyd and Trenton Irwin is probably your deeper sleeper name. Maybe a great name to play in DFS in this matchup. Sam Hubbard, defensive end for the Bengals, is out today, which is notable. I do think that due to some of the injuries, I am starting the Cincinnati Bengals defense as a dart throw this week. I was desperate. It's not something I recommend. Obviously, the Raiders are a better option if you got them versus the Jets, etc. The Titans will be down 2 starting offensive linemen this week. That is notable, going up against a very tough front in the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Treylon Burks is also out today, and Sean Murphy-Bunting, one of the top outside cornerbacks, is out today for the Titans. That could be good news for guys like Mike Evans and Chris Godwin on the outside. Tommy DeVito starting for the Giants today. He'll also be down 2 starting offensive linemen. I expect the Giants to go very run heavy. Don't be surprised if Saquon Barkley gets 25 to 30 carries in this game. Obviously, the Dallas defense is a solid start. We're not worried about there. Dory Jackson, one of the top cornerbacks for the New York Giants, is out today. That's good news for the Dallas Cowboys. CeeDee Lamb is one of my favorite starts of the week. And if you're really desperate, Brandon Cooks has been playing a lot better as of late. Could be an option there as well. Curtis Samuel is back in this week. That is notable going up against Seattle. Seattle is a pass funnel defense to the slot. So Curtis Samuel might be in a wetter game, apparently, up there in the north. Could be a better start this week than the guys on the outside. Colton Miller is out, left tackle for the Raiders. That's notable for the Jets this week. Obviously, it'll be Aiden O'Connell, a more run-focused offense for the Raiders, but that is good news for the Jets defense. On Monday, we have the Buffalo Bills and the Denver Broncos, and Christian Bedford and Micah Hyde are going to be out for the Bills. The Bills offense should be able to get their points up against a much improved Denver defense over the last month, but I do think those injuries to the secondary, I think Cortland Sutton and Jerry Jeudy are both solid options this week. I wrote up Jerry Jeudy as one of my starts of the week at the slot position going up against Buffalo. Finally, just a couple updates from the 1 o'clock games that we got. KJ Osborne is out officially, along with Justin Jefferson, going up against New Orleans. That means guys like Brandon Powell, by the way, if you're looking for a DFS dart throw, I could see him getting 4 to 5 receptions in this game this week with those injuries. And also Charlton Davis is out, which is big news for DeAndre Hopkins, who's someone we already like a lot in this game. So that's interesting. I do love that. That is a feather in the cap for Will Levis, who's one of our favorite kind of streamer quarterbacks this week. But on top of that, you also have DeAndre Hopkins, who I think could be a fantastic DFS play in this matchup. That wraps up all the injuries we got so far for the 1 o'clock window. So let's get everybody back in and let's start breaking out some additional start sit questions. Back over to Sky Gawasco. Feel free to run us back in.
All right. Appreciate it, Bob. Let's go with the dub box for a minute. Yep. We got Matt and Gladys stepping away just for a second here. We'll get back to those questions for you. Once again, folks, you're joining us live on the Razzball Fantasy Football YouTube show. You can hit that bell and subscribe when you are ready so you don't miss any of our stuff coming up during the week. We also have daily shows coming up during the week. The three of us plus our brother Derek will be back with you on a quad box on Tuesday. And hey, bring your own fruit, right? I mean, I don't want too many pairs because I think it's going to take away from the substantiality of Bob actually like getting out of his comfort zone. We want this to be a safe space for him. So he's going to go with pairs. Matt, if Bob has pairs covered, what's going to be your fruit of choice on Tuesday?
Cheetos.
I'm going to have to check the index. I'm not sure Cheetos technically qualifies, but it's 2023, man. There's a lot of new opportunity.
What color are they?
Cheetos, usually they're red, flaming hot.
No.
You know what I'm saying? Oh,
They're
orange.
orange.
I get it.
So
orange. You're being artsy.
Nothing, therefore, it has to be a fruit.
You're being artsy. I get it. No problem.
All right, Sky. Why don't you give us yours, and then I got a football thing I want to talk about for a second.
Bob, we're talking about fruit though.
Yeah, no, I hear you, but I want to talk about football because this game has been super boring, but there's been some interesting underlying things that happened in the Colts-Patriots game I want to break down really quick.
Michael Pittman being one of them.
Yeah, really good. But Demario Douglas, by the way,
best running back in New England the rest of the season.
In a now that's not true at all. Ramondre Stevenson, 19 carries for 87 yards in this game. That's pretty solid, 4.6 yards per carry. Demario Douglas, 5 catches for 75 yards against Kenny Moore is no joke. The Colts slot defense is no joke. And
one of those catches was for 30 yards at the end of the half.
Great.
It counts, but I'm just saying it's not necessarily everything it looks like for Douglas.
Yeah, but the point is the slot matchup was so bad. Like the Kenny Moore slot matchup is not good, and he would not be a recommended play. So if he's able to make a play or two against a tough matchup and he's getting 5 catches for 70, let's say even if you take that catch away, right? 4 catches for 40-something yards, right? In a very tough, if that's his baseline in like one of the toughest matchups, you're probably okay to start him. He's now on your list of players to play as a wide receiver 3 in PPR. In good matchups. Like I think you could be confident because of the injuries. Juju Smith-Schuster's not a factor at all. The tight ends are just kind of a joke there. I mean, granted, I love how people hate on Mac Jones and they surrounded him with garbage. And they're like, he's not good. Yeah,
Belichick,
it's like, you're not good. It's annoying,
52, man. And Belichick puts in Bailey Zappi. Belichick has jumped the shark.
Well, I think it's a joke because Bill Belichick got Tom Brady was able to elevate talent for so many years. And you saw it in like the late, 2017, 18, 19, like when Edelman would get hurt or Gronk would get hurt, it would be Brady and a bunch of random guys, right? And Tom Brady would even struggle and they would have these slow starts to the year. And everyone's like, well, it's over for Brady. He can't do it anymore. And you're like, he's throwing to Kendrell Tompkins. Like, what are we talking about here? Like, it's absurd that the Patriots. Yeah. By the way, I loved it. Tompkins I loved every second of it, dude. He was an undrafted free agent, earned his starting job. I'm not saying that's bad, but like you can't get away with that. Like Devontae Parker can't stay healthy, and then when he plays, he's banged up, but he's out. Kendrick Bourne, who's been solid for them, cannot be your de facto number 1. Demario Douglas is a nice player, but he's your number 1 option. He's a 5'7" slot guy. Like, and then you're trying to Jizicki's
what?
It's not even a top
Jizicki.
Whatever.
The point, it's insane. It's insane to me that they do that. But anyway, but the point is those are interesting. But I think the other interesting takeaway here is that Jonathan Taylor, 23 carries to 1 for Zach Moss. His name is Mike Jizicki.
That's cool. That's true.
All right, I'm over you guys. Let's go.
Let's go. And I'm going to go with
I may have shaken the vertigo. Look at the red. Oh my goodness, Bob, that was wonderful.
Glad to make you laugh, Matt.
I'm gonna go with an apple and or banana. But if we're counting avocado, then I'm absolutely going avocado on Tuesday. Let's move on here. Cosmo has a question. We got to have PPR start 2. Aaron Jones, Bob's Ken Walker, Javonte Williams. Maddie, we'll start with you.
Are we going to lean forward and think, is this a Seinfeld fan?
Let's see. Cosmo
Kramer. I think that's the dog in the photo.
Yeah, makes sense.
Yeah,
Cosmo might be the dog.
We're not going to know. I digress. I'm sorry. It's been a rough morning for me. The surefire start for me here is Javonte Williams. And I want it to be Aaron Jones, but you never know what that hamstring is going to. God, this is nasty. Okay, so who's not going to catch passes, right? Jones makes a lot of his money with catching passes. So as much as I hate to say it, give me Walker and give me Javonte. That's only half PPR.
Bob?
Walker and Javonte for me as well.
Oh, damn, really?
I mean, they're all like right next to each other for me.
Yeah,
you just gotta make a choice.
Man, think about this. Just I know it's always hindsight this time of year, right? But think about draft day. You come out of your draft with these 3 running backs. Can you imagine how absolutely just electric you are heading into week 1? And now it's week 10, and you're like, dude, how can I like not drop these guys but not play them either? Unbelievable.
So I came out of the draft with Jones, Walker, Bijan, and Zappy threw an interception, and I don't. The fourth one, I had a fourth one that I was hyped. We traded Walker for Chase at a certain point.
Nice.
So right before Chase came out of his doldrums.
Injury.
But you're I mean, if you have these 3, your flex is loaded.
Yeah, it is. I would say, man, I'm just going to be the odd man out. I got to go with Aaron Jones. I don't love it either. I'm going to go Aaron Jones and Javonte Williams. I really think, and the Seattle weather thing aside, I really think that Charbonnet is not only creeping in on work, but he's literally like more than half of the percentage for Ken Walker the last couple of weeks. I'm concerned about that if there's any lingering issues. So I'm going to go with Javonte and Aaron Jones, but it sounds like we got 2 for Ken Walker as well. Blurpy, good morning. Great to see you back here as well. Kyler and T-Law, Ferguson or McBride. We got a full PPR situation. Just worried about Ferguson being in a blowout game versus the Cowboys. So the Cowboys are playing the Giants. He's worried that the Cowboys are going to put up too many points too early, and they're not going to need to throw potentially. We know where Matt sits on Kyler and T-Law. So Bob, Kyler and T-Law first, and then go ahead to Fergie and McBride, full PPR.
I'm supporting Matt all day there. I'm going to go Trevor Lawrence in that game. I'm not starting Kyler if I don't have to. For the tight end, let's see here. I do like Trey McBride, but Dallas, man, against the Giants, that could be. I'm going to go Trey McBride.
Wow. I'm going to go T-Law and Ferguson for me.
So shout out to Derek. He chipped in with a pair emoji or a few pair emojis. We don't talk about, or he doesn't talk about Arizona tight ends. So I will do it for him. I think the game script for Dallas says there's very few high leverage situations where Ferguson will need to be leaned on. So I'm going to go Trevor Lawrence, and I'm going to go McBride simply based on game script. I think the better moving forward tight end, which you can see in Sky's trade for article, is Jake Ferguson.
Yep. Jake,
shout out to Sky's article.
Yeah, I want Jake Ferguson on my rosters in general. I'm playing him this week against the Giants. I think the Cowboys put up quite a bit of points, and it might be early. So I like that. I also like a bounce back or like a potential explosion game for Tony Pollard. We've been waiting for that for a few weeks. I think that could happen today as well. And hopefully Saquon goes nuts as well with 40 touches, but we'll see what happens. Mike F., Jets fan. Daniel, good morning. Nice to see all you guys back in here. We're getting to those questions as we go along here. Daniel is in. Trevor Lawrence or Stroud. We got Purdy and Kyler Murray, Dobbs versus Carr. So we have 3 different quarterback questions. We just answered basically Trevor Lawrence and Kyler Murray, but let's do some other comparisons. Matt, why don't you just rattle it off? Give me your 3 best quarterbacks in these matchups.
The right decision is Stroud, but I think Trevor Lawrence game script. So, you know what? Stroud's going to be in the game script too. So the better wide receivers are with Trevor Lawrence plus ETN. So give me Trevor Lawrence, give me Purdy in a landslide, and no Justin Jefferson. Give me Carr ever so slightly in front of Dobbs. That one I think is your own personal opinion, coin flip, which guy you prefer to watch today. But I'm leaning Carr.
So I'm going to go all 3 the same. Lawrence, Purdy, Carr.
Okay, I'm going to go Lawrence, Purdy, and Carr as well. Shout out to Michael Thomas for getting arrested, sort of, but also playing today. So like to see that. Daniel has another question here. Bob, can you just remind us, maybe there's an update? What's the kicker for the week?
Well, it's Jason Myers, technically. I got boots on the ground over there, telling me Seattle could be a little stormy. I'm going to stick with it. I'm going to go Jason Myers as my kicker star of the week. He's the guy that fits up. Then Brandon Aubrey for the Dallas Cowboys worries me a little. Excuse me. It worries me a little bit that I think the Giants are kind of reeling a little bit, and I can see that Dallas just scores 4 touchdowns. You get 4 points from your kicker, but Brandon Aubrey's up there. And if you're looking for another guy, it's Chase McLaughlin, Tampa Bay Buccaneers kicker, going up against the Titans. So if you don't want to do the rain and you feel like the Giants are not going to be competitive and you think they're just going to score touchdowns, Chase McLaughlin would be my 3rd option this week. But I'm going to go Jason Myers, Brandon Aubrey, Chase McLaughlin as my 3 streamer kickers of the week.
So you know what's going to happen? We're talking about all this rain, right? And it's not going to rain. And Gino's going to go off, which I hate because it doesn't make sense. Yep.
There it is.
Wow. See, just so unnecessarily too. It's like wait, was that a boogie down also? Was that a raise the roof and a boogie down? Like, what's going, dude? Man. Oh, geez.
Oh, yeah. I can't wait. Geno Smith goes off today. I'm sending everybody's getting pairs. I'm sending everybody a pair. It's a pair party on Tuesday.
Bob, this is the energy we need from the beginning. Maybe we shouldn't start shows at 7 a.m. Pacific time every once in a while, so you and I can actually wake up and we can get into this thing. But man, I love that. Shouts out. Okay, got the kicker of the week. Mike Florio back with us. We appreciate you checking in, my man. Okay, here we got a need a tight end PPR. Pitts, Smith, same team. Musgrave, Jawan Johnson, C. I'm gonna go with let's see.
Now that could be Jonnu. That could be Irv.
Irv Smith. That's true. I was thinking.
Go
Smith,
down.
Pitts.
McBride's available too.
Yeah, McBride. Okay, and Mayer. Okay, so let me try this again. Sorry, Mike. That was a lot. Okay, Pitts, Irv or Jonnu, Musgrave, Jawan Johnson, Mayer or McBride. So there's a lot going on here. Matt, we'll start with
you. It's never John Mayer, right? Unless you're on Tinder.
Ooh.
So I will lean either one of the Smith tight ends.
Jonnu.
After McBride.
So it's Jonnu.
Okay, then again, it's Arthur Smith, right? So give me McBride because that's what makes sense in the non-Bizarro world that Arthur Smith head coaches in. So that means it'll probably be Pitts for 9 and 115 and a touchdown today because it's Arthur Smith. So I'm going to go safety first. Put my water wings on and go with Trey McBride.
Gladys?
I hate to sit Pitts because of that ceiling, but I'm gonna go McBride in this particular matchup. He's second on the team in targets. And I think Kyler Murray's that's his safety valve. It's gonna have to be.
Baba?
Yeah, McBride for me. I honestly, the one thing that worries me a little bit is that it's hard to tell because like the tight end position is so dependent on who you faced, right? So if you look at tight end fantasy points allowed, it doesn't really matter as much because like if you don't face a team that features a tight end, you could look really good against tight ends. But Atlanta's looked good against tight ends this year. So the problem is Atlanta doesn't, Matt Collins is out and Drake London's dealing with a groin injury. So, they don't have wide receiver depth. So you'd think those guys are going to be featured. But give me McBride. I'm just going to take the matchup. Atlanta's been a good matchup for tight ends. So I think that's the right answer. But I think Jonnu and or Kyle Pitts is going to have a day. They're just going to have to.
Yeah, I agree. Assuming the C right there isn't for Chris Cooley, then I'm gonna go with Jonnu Smith. If it is Chris Cooley, though, no brainer, right? I mean, one of the most consistent fantasy tight ends for a handful of seasons. Absolutely dominant. Yeah, exactly. It might also be no, not at all. It could be Dallas Clark too. Not quite sure because I don't have the full word there, but we'll go for it. All right, folks, we want to give a shout out here. We got maybe 15 minutes left on the program here. We're going to set our lineups as well. But if you have any last minute questions, feel free to jump in. We see a number of you sign on. Mike, you're very welcome. Thank you for joining us always. Again, just a reminder, we're here every single Sunday morning. Some version of this group plus Derek, and we have a few other subs that come in and out. We're here every single Sunday for you, 2 hours before your kickoff. If there is a London, Germany game, which those are fading at this point, but we kick off at halftime of that game. So make sure you tune in just a little bit earlier generally. Also, bye weeks are fading quickly, but we still have a couple more coming up, and trade deadlines in your fantasy league are coming up next week, the week after, in early December. Very important you stay ahead of those. We're going to start talking about strength of schedule for the fantasy playoffs. Bob mentioned it earlier. He's got running backs dialed. We're going to get the rest of those available to you and discuss on our Tuesday shows. So every single Tuesday, you can also jump on with us. We got a quad box for you there as well. That can be available here on the YouTube channel and also repurposed on our podcast. So those of you on the go during the week that can't catch our YouTube shows, feel free to download the podcast, the Razzball Fantasy Football Podcast. You can subscribe and stream that throughout your week. That's how I catch up on all my Razzball shows that I'm not hosting because I'm out doing other things, but I still get all the information in. So make sure you do that with me as well. And of course, join us every single Sunday back here. We got a couple more questions for you, so stay tuned. And again, we got about 15-minute warning. So please feel free to dump in those lineup questions. And then we're going to go through some of our own so we can set it up and get ready for week 10. Okay, Jets fan is back. Standard scoring, Taysom Hill or Amari Cooper in the flex. So, of course, Taysom Hill in the tight end position or Amari Cooper in the flex. Matt?
First of all, what is standard scoring?
Non-PPR.
Cool. So this is really a question for Bob, but I'll jump in. I'm going to start the upside Taysom Hill. I don't love Amari Cooper against the getting better and better Baltimore defensive backfield.
Gladys?
Taysom Hill. Standard scoring Taysom.
Yeah, okay, let me ask you this about Taysom Hill. Because I like Matt, we all have a thing that we don't talk about. Like, Derek doesn't want to talk about the Cardinals tight ends. I'm sure, people all just say I'm out. Matt, you have one I forget off the top of my head that you don't want to talk about. Mine is Taysom Hill. Because I have no idea. Because 1 week he'll catch 5 passes. The next week he'll have 0, but he'll have 10 carries, 6 carries and find the end zone. So there's no information that I have on hand to tell you when to start Taysom Hill. It's honestly, it feels like luck. So Amari Cooper probably going to get you like 50 yards. So let's say PPR, no PPR here. So it's 5 points. So we think might as well just take a swing. If you get 3 points from Taysom Hill and he doesn't score any touchdown, he gets, 2 catches for 10, 15 yards rushing as his floor. But we like the fact that he's featured in the goal line here. Is the thought process for this question specifically that Amari Cooper's probably not going to do much today against the Ravens, so you might as well take a swing and hope that Taysom Hill gets that featured red zone role. Is that the thought process here?
Well, absolutely. And it's standard scoring. So, yeah, I mean, he has like 3 rushing touchdowns, 1 passing touchdown, 1 receiving touchdown. He's going to be in there some capacity. So against a Minnesota defense that isn't quite as strong as they like, and they blitz a lot, yeah, you're hoping that he gets at least one touchdown. And I think his chances of getting that touchdown are better than Amari Cooper's chances of getting a touchdown against the defense he's going against.
And if Taysom is running hot, you run with Taysom. And right now he's scorching hot.
Yeah, totally agree. I mean, you guys nailed it. And look, you start your running backs in standard scoring. So Taysom Hill, easy.
Okay. Yeah, I don't mind it. I think it's really because it's the standard scoring format piece. I am okay with it. I just think that they're really – because Brian Flores, they're playing Minnesota today. Flores is kind of known – he blitzes a lot. So does that mean that they take advantage of that somehow? I don't know how they would do that with Taysom Hill, but I guess I'd be curious how mobile quarterbacks have played against. I think it doesn't matter. I think it's Taysom Hill. Jets fan, we're a fan of Taysom Hill. Let's just move on. But I would be curious. I would love to learn something that allows me to know when to start Taysom Hill. I think Matt's right though. When he's hot, just play him and hope for the best.
Yeah, but I think you're overthinking it, Bob, because metrics don't matter for him. Right? Like you do so much analysis that gives you understanding. He's not a player to understand. The reality is the Saints love him. He literally plays 4 positions. So he's on the field all the time. He's a great goal line back. He's a big back. He can throw the ball. He can receive. He can run. So he's going to be involved. Additionally, in standard scoring, it doesn't matter. Amari Cooper needs 100 yards to get what Taysom Hill could get on a drive. The rushing has such a massive advantage in this. So for me, it's Taysom Hill. And look, any tight end can boom or bust. And most of them bust more frequently because they don't have the consistency. Taysom Hill obviously has that upside, and we've seen it the last month.
Sure. I don't think that's true though. I listen, if you look at his stats, there's the first, he's hot right now. I get that. But the first 5 weeks, 0.4, 2.1, 1.7, 2 fantasy points. So
go look at the snap. Dennis
I get it.
He finally figured it out. And
he's hot.
When Taysom's not getting the ball, you can't touch him. When he's running hot and he's getting 9, 10, 12 touches, you just deal with whatever you get point-wise from him. Kamara has shown recently that he cannot score from inside the 3-yard line. Taysom Hill scores from inside the 3-yard line.
And it's maybe game script too, because they do go to him when they're up. And so that he kind of helps them run out the clock so they can run the ball with Taysom Hill. They give the ball to Jamal Williams. They give the ball to Alvin Kamara. And then I don't think I think Dobbs was a nice story last week. But now they don't have KJ Osborne on top of Justin Jefferson. So that's a huge blow for Minnesota. So maybe game flow too. I'm just curious because I just go with whatever you guys say for the Taysom Hill thing because I don't have a freaking clue. And I feel like every time I bet against him, he does fine. But his floor is non-existent. Doesn't get much lower, but he's hot right now.
So is Amari Cooper's, dude. I mean, honestly, Amari Cooper, he's been playing well too, but the secondary is great. They're playing Baltimore. Should be a low-scoring game. Yes, he can break for like a 78-yard catch or something like that. But we saw with DK last week. He had 1 catch for 50 yards. Love it, but it's 1 catch.
Yeah, I get it.
I'm just going to take the consistency and the touches.
Yeah.
Okay. Are we done fighting?
I would like to be friends again. Yes, please.
You both are equally pretty, so stop fighting.
Let's move on here to Dan.
Look at you. Thank you. I do feel pretty today.
Gladys.
Yes.
Coming in hot. Thank you. I appreciate that.
No worries.
Daniel, stash question. Have the Jets DST currently, would you stash a second defense with Kansas City? If you have room, would you pick up Kansas City? They're free. They're on the bye right now. So obviously nobody is playing them. But would you pick them up? And QJ has got to be Quentin Johnston. Would you pick up the Chiefs or Quentin Johnston if you had a free bench space? Matt?
No.
Gladys?
Kansas City's playing their next game, the Eagles.
Eagles, yeah.
And after that, Raiders, which, no, I know. I wouldn't pick up either, actually. But you have the Jets defense. Oh, my God. My dog has discovered how to lower my chair. So what?
Careful.
Yeah, no, I would not pick up Kansas City's defense.
Well, I think we'd have to look at side by side, right? Because the Jets have the Raiders, and then they have Buffalo. Are we confident in the Jets versus Buffalo or the Chiefs versus the Eagles? So we'd rather start the Jets versus Buffalo versus the Chiefs versus the Eagles, right?
Yes.
Okay. Because then after that, I think the Chiefs would be great back-to-back weeks. They have the Packers and the Raiders. So I would want to start the Chiefs there. You're starting to get closer to the point in the season where it's like you don't need wide receiver 5 and 6 anymore. You don't need your RB 5 and 6 anymore. You start handcuffing, you start looking at staggering defenses a little bit so you can play matchups, right? So the Chiefs are a good defense. So I wouldn't mind having them as an option. But then next week, you're playing the Jets against Buffalo. Understand that. And then the following week, I believe the Jets have the Dolphins. So that would be a good pivot for the Chiefs. And then the week after that, the Jets have the Falcons. So I think we'd probably want to play the Jets versus the Falcons over the Chiefs versus Green Bay, right?
I think I would play the Jets versus Miami, counting on Tua to throw a couple interceptions. I like interceptions.
Versus the Raiders? You rather play the Jets versus the Dolphins than the Chiefs versus the Raiders?
Yes. Because I think because I don't think the Raiders are going to throw the ball as much. So I don't think there's as much upside for the Chiefs to defense-wise to get points. Do you know what I mean?
Sure.
Yeah, but I think there's a much higher likelihood that they give up points. So I would go Chiefs versus the Raiders there. Absolutely.
Same. Chiefs, Raiders.
So I think that in this sense, I would pick up the Chiefs. I think this would be a good duo to have for the next month or so. You could probably play these two defenses on and off. So I would be okay picking up the Chiefs here.
Yep, I agree. All right, let's move on here. Kid Kobe, good morning. Welcome back. Haven't seen you in a while. Purdy or Kyler? We've already discussed this. It's Purdy all around. Gladys, do you disagree?
Yeah. No. What? I agree. Purdy all around.
Okay. Purdy on the 4-pack and official Savage.
Ooh,
checking in here.
Fancy.
Matt, a little late episode Savage here. Injury, or let's see, we did the injury report. We got a weather report. I don't think. Can somebody volunteer really quickly just to triple check last minute NFL weather and just make sure there's nothing crazy popping up here, please? And
while we're doing that, I'm going to assume that can we get Razzball Corporate to send Savage a case of bottled water? He's obviously parched from licking his wounds last week because he didn't show up to have that one-on-one discussion.
Well, I don't see why that wouldn't.
Why does Razzball Corporate need to send him water? I don't know. That's why don't you keep us out of this? Keep us out.
I'm not doing it.
Low impact on every game, medium impact on the Monday night game, which is in Buffalo, to be expected, and medium impact on the Seattle game, which is shaping up to be a wet one in Seattle with a 50% chance of rain, increasing throughout the day, high temperatures in the mid-50s with the wind in the high single digits. You're good. I don't think the rain will be significant enough.
It starts at 4.
Perfect. Thank you, Gladys.
That's what I'm here for.
The Buffalo, by the way, just keep in mind this stuff too, right? The clock's getting to November, December. Buffalo, Cleveland, these kind of areas are going to be impactful for weather. Like they are going to start seeing, like Cleveland, especially with right next to the Great Lakes over there, those games get destroyed by weather games. And this is something to keep in mind for defenses. Like, yeah, the Browns make sense, but look at the schedule who they're facing. Those defenses could be help. And Deshaun Watson is not scaring anybody. There's no more Nick Chubb. I mean, Jerome Ford's a nice player in Hunt, but there's no Nick Chubb too. So those defenses and the weather could be beneficial too. Those games could be cheat codes for you later in the season by picking up defenses instead and playing them in those matchups.
Yep. Deshaun Watson to trade away for me right now while you can off of his nice one game out of a month. And again, Cleveland, Buffalo, any of these Canadian cities, we want to make sure we're sticking away from those as the weather turns. Bob, lions are big cats. They lick their paws when they get wounded.
Oh,
Matt
so there was something
and
to that.
had an absolute bloodbath a couple weeks ago. and Sauvaget hasn't necessarily recoiled from an L, and it's okay. I mean, no hate. Look, I mean, big fan. Love Sauvaget. It's all good.
We love Sauvaget.
And I have to review the tape, but I think technically Sauvaget shot the initial arrow. I think that's the issue here. You know,
Matt was an innocent bystander.
Matt's not necessarily.
No.
Go ahead.
But I did say that when he was wrong, he needed to come back on the show and apologize. He phoned out sick last week.
And hey, this time of year, maybe he was sick. Let's give him benefit of the doubt for now.
It's cold and flu season. It's cold and flu. You know what I mean? Gotta watch yourself.
Maybe he's got vertigo. Let's give him an opportunity to defend himself. I'm just saying.
That's a little close to home, but yeah.
I'm a migraine guy myself, but I feel your pain, man.
Yeah.
Oh my God, migraines.
Are we still recording? We're recording.
No, we just ended the stream. So
we're recording, Matt. Be careful. Don't get fired.
I heart Sauvaget.
Love it. Look at that. Love that.
And by the way, so the weather report was there's no problems except for maybe something in Buffalo later. There you go. All right.
Other than Matt's studio, we're all wings up. We're ready to go here. All right. Good afternoon. Here we got B-Rob, Brian Robinson, or Bijan Robinson. Not sure. Probably Brian Robinson based on these other names. Singletary, Warren, half PPR, leaning B-Rob. Let's go Brian Robinson, Singletary, Warren. Matt?
I will take either one of the Robinsons with this list. So obviously Bijan's the must start. I like B-Rob against Seattle after they just gave up all the rushing yards to Baltimore, and maybe the Seattle defense against the run is trending down. So give me either Bijan or Brian in this matchup. And you know what? To our tip, good afternoon to you.
Still the morning for me. Gladys?
Yeah.
It's still the evening for Gladys.
Still last
count
night.
it.
I'm gonna take what do we know which Robinson it is? Do we care? We don't.
We're gonna go Brian.
We're going
Brian.
But either way.
Well, okay. If it's Brian Robinson, I'm going Jalen Warren in half PPR. If it's Bijan, I'm going Bijan. Boom.
Gladys, finish this sentence. You ready?
Yeah. No.
Yes. SATURDAY.
Day? No.
Sky, finish this sentence. SATURDAY. Somebody go Google Casey in the Sunshine Man. It's ridiculous.
Wow, that's tough. It's a tough day for Matt. Your vertigo has got you all over the place, buddy. All right, I'm gonna go. Matt made a very good point about the springing of the leak. I don't know what's going on with Seattle's run defense, but it is actually a thing. I mean, they allowed nearly 100 yards. They allowed well over 100 yards rushing to the Browns, and then last week they allowed 200 yards to the Baltimore Ravens, which is really crazy because like we early on in the year we're like Seattle run D, and didn't Seattle just trade for a guy too, like a defensive tackle or something? I don't know. That's weird. I'm gonna go Brian Robinson. Play the trends, people. All right, what we got next? Is Sky here? You're like,
he's here. He hasn't given an answer though.
Look at you, an Alaska hat, by the way. I didn't even notice. Is that Alaska?
I think it says Aloha.
Aloha. Oh, Aloha.
So close. You're so close.
That's literally the opposite of Alaska. Can't read.
I'm gonna go.
All right.
I'm gonna go. Jalen Warren as well. I don't like the matchup against Seattle. Micah's back. We need one. Amari Cooper, Jerome Ford, Devin Singletary, Rashid Rice, and Garrett Wilson.
Rashid Rice is not
2
playing.
for flex, half PPR, Matt.
Isn't Rashid Rice he's on a bye, right? Okay.
So if it's possible that's Rashid Shaheed.
That's what I'm here for.
Oh, yeah, it could be.
If it's Rashid Shaheed, I'm going Garrett Wilson and Rashid Shaheed. If it's really Rashid Rice, I'm going Garrett Wilson and probably Jerome Ford.
I'm going to go half PPR. I'm going to go If it's the New Orleans guy, I'm going the New Orleans guy. If it's Rashichi, but what you have, I'm going to go Jerome Ford and Garrett Wilson.
Man.
It's definitely not Rasheed Wallace, right?
Wow. Imagine.
Hey, good
Rasheed
team.
Wallace would be in.
Shout out to the Trailblazers.
That would be awesome.
You mean the Jailblazers?
Wow.
I'm not trying to pick on the Ravens defense right now. So picking two Cleveland's player doesn't seem like the smartest idea. I'm going to go Ford and Garrett Wilson.
Ford and Garrett Wilson as well for me. Let's see here. Listener pick, Buffalo Wild Wings. Okay. I want to bring this up real quick here just to make sure everybody sees it. Hot dogs or Buffalo Wild Wings, folks. Hot dogs, Buffalo Wild Wings. Feel free to check in the
just
last
Buffalo
3 minutes.
Wings.
Oh, excuse me.
I
Pardon
can't
me.
drive.
Buffalo wings, hot dogs. What are we feeling for the snacks on the day? We also have another question here from somebody on the Razzball team to be anonymous.
Yeah, just to be anonymous. If anybody has, I heard someone might need to answer this question. I don't know who, but just wondering from the team.
Purdy,
Bob, you want to take this one off? You want to sit this one out, Bob?
I'll help out. I'll help out if needed. Only if we have a tie.
Purdy and Goff. Matt, one more time for Patricio. Can you give us a Casey and Sunshine shout out?
Yes. SATURDAY.
That's not Casey in the Sunshine.
Night. No, it's not. But you need to look up your Casey and the Sunshine Band and get into some rhythm. Let's go. Let's move. Whoa.
Yeah, you should probably slow that down there, big boy. Slow down, big boy. Slow it down.
I got it.
Okay.
I got it.
Matt, let's keep it easy. This isn't Boogie Nights. AJ, in a bit of a pickle. Really quick survey: thumbs up, thumbs down. Like pickles? Thumbs up. Don't like them? Thumbs down. Real quick. 4-pack on pickles?
4-pack.
Oh yeah.
Just making sure. In a pickle.
It's the Bay City Rollers.
Yeah, I know that.
Bay
That's
City
why
Rollers, nice.
I knew that. Was I supposed to answer that?
Whoa! Here, we're not here to fight.
What's happening?
Hey, we're not here to fight. We're just we're here for the people. Let's keep it clean. Here in a pickle, we got a DST today. Currently going Minnesota versus the Aints, but also have Atlanta versus Arizona. My fear of starting ATL is that I'm starting Kyler Murray as well. So if Kyler goes off, DST is cooked. I don't like doing that either. We don't believe in Kyler today, but I like the mentality. Very quick here. Minnesota versus the Saints, Falcons versus the Cardinals. Matt, let's go rapid fire. We got a couple more and got to get out of here.
The Vikings have one of the top defensive linemen for sacks, and Derek Carr is known to turn the ball over from time to time. I'm okay sticking with Minnesota.
I like Atlanta and Jesse Bates.
Bob.
Atlanta
as well. Yes, it was Brian Robinson earlier for Artep, so we appreciate that. Oh boy, 3-5 or 6-2. Who's licking their wounds? Matt, you have 30 seconds. Go.
I want a higher draft pick. We knew the season was cooked after about the third week, so I've been shitting on.
I wish you could do that.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Detroit fans don't know how to win, so I'm just going to leave them alone. They're reveling in this, right? They're talking.
Let them have it.
I'm good.
Let them have it.
You know what? I'm being the bigger man. I said I heart Savage. I want Savage here all the time. Tuesdays, Sundays, Thursdays, all the time. So whatever it takes for Savage to continue to dial in, even if it means I take the punches to the face, that's fine. I'm willing to do it. I'm a man of the.
You got to understand something. As a Detroit Lions fan, it's been a long road. Been a long road for these guys. You know what I mean? So 6-2, everything's looking up and up. You got to go with it. You got to give him his props. And by the way, this is the first time you guys don't have like an MVP caliber quarterback in like 3 decades, essentially. So
whoa, shots fired to Jordan Love. Yikes.
So I think you guys had a really good run. Packers had a lot of fun. Take some time off. Give the Lions fans some time. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I'm just saying, Matt, when I make the call and the call is right and it happens to be against your team, and you wanted to argue with me, you should at least come in and say, bro, you're right. Let's just shake hands at the 50-yard line. Move on.
It doesn't matter anyway. Justin Fields and the Bears are the future, so it doesn't really matter anyway. So let's
oh my God, that's another discussion. Gentlemen, we don't have time for this. We don't have time for this. Keep it clean. Matt, quick question. If Lions fans lick their paws, do Packers fans like fill the wounds with like squeaky cheese? Like what is that? What is that? How does that work for Packers fans?
We don't. We're eating that. We don't share that.
They'll smell the cheese.
Okay.
Or cut the cheese.
Matt.
Cheese curds.
No, squeaky
what
cheese.
Is happening?
Man.
Squeaky cheese.
We're trying to figure, class. We're figuring things out right now. We need to figure out what Matt does when his team sucks. Okay.
Okay.
Cheese, the cheese, cut the cheese. We need to know.
My God.
I also love my bench. I know that I have other options here. We're going to go with the Minnesota DST. We also got Atlanta as well. We went with Atlanta. Patricio, I mentioned Buffalo Wild Wings. That's my bad. It's just wings in general. We're going to move this into the wing category, Matt. I'm also going to vote for wings for you. Very quickly, Bob Gladys. Wings, dogs for Matt. Go.
Vegan wings.
Gross.
Vegan wings. Cauliflower. Go ahead.
Cauliflower wings, baby.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
So we'll go unanimous. Steven, jumping at the last minute. Steven, good morning. We got Dell or Najee. Half PPR, Matt.
I'm going to go Dell because I don't like Najee. Even though Gladys and I have both leaned up Najee in other questions. This one, I go with Dell.
It's Tank Dell, Bob. Let's go.
Oh, it's Tank Dell. Yeah, I'm not. I didn't know it was on me. Dell's fine.
Okay, great. Now, Matt, what I do appreciate here is now we have the entire NFC North in our DMs here. So first of all, Savage only bites kneecaps. Respect. Appreciate that. And then Patricio is a Bears fan, ratting himself out here on public national television. Appreciate that. A Bears fan like me get plenty of time off. So looks like, man, we got Bears and Lions coming in hot here, which I appreciate. So we want to give a shout out there. Folks, we got a 30-second countdown. If you have any other last-minute questions, please feel free to drop those in the chat right now. Otherwise, we're going to be off in 30 seconds. Once again, you can check out all of our handles here. That is, but get out of here.
Dude, we skipped over this one. I just want to know.
We did it. I literally said it. I said it out loud.
You did not. No one answered.
And not a single person in the chat is excited about it. I mean, Purdy and Goff, like, what do you want, dude? It's
Goff. 6
it's
points.
obvious.
6 points to touchdown is Goff.
Got it. Okay. I was just wondering. I was just wondering for a friend. All right. And I know you're a San Francisco Sky. Sky, there's one thing I could count on. Your pulse on the 49ers is always dead on. So I was just wondering if you're thinking Purdy might just go bananas today. That's all I was curious about. That's all.
No, he might go Pears, though.
Might go Pears?
Nice.
Yeah, he may not go bananas, but he might go Pears.
All right. Cool.
Folks, I'm going to edit on that. You can make sure to check out Matt Styles on Twitter, Styles08, Gladys L. Tyler, Bob Lamarco, Bobby Lamarco, and myself at Scott Glasgow. Make sure to check out the podcast as well, Razzball Fantasy Football Podcast. Of course, hit the bell, subscribe, and leave a comment down below with any final questions. Otherwise, we are out of here. Bob, go ahead and roll us out. And let's see, we got 1, 2, 3. Love it. Quick questions. Let's get this going here. We have without a rivalry in football wouldn't be fun. I love this. You guys are making up quickly. Shout out. And a nice Vikings fan. NFC North, hot fire. All teams in the NFC North represented in the chat.
We have like 8, like 11. We have 15 people. Like 90% of them are NFC North people. This is nice. This is great.
This is so good. I love it. Got to start 3 in PPR. Let's get through it quick. Basically, we're benching 1 PPR very quickly. Benching 1. Garrett Wilson, Olave, Ridley, and Javonte. Matt.
I sit Garrett Wilson.
Gladys.
Gladys on mute.
Javonte.
Sitting Olave. Sorry. I didn't mean that at all. I don't even know why I said that. Sitting Garrett Wilson. Forget I just said that. Garrett Wilson.
Okay, I'm going to say Garrett Wilson as well. We do have a couple more questions, guys. Let's stay on top here. We got Sammy Howell and Kyler Murray. We know how we feel about Kyler. Gladys, what do you think here?
Sam Howell.
Sam Howell for me as well. And then Super C&B Challengers. Love that. Maybe a traveling basketball team. Yo, sit one, McLaurin, Metcalf, Olave, and Demont back out of the penalty box. Matt?
Monte until I know he's fully healthy. If you feel he's fully healthy, sit Metcalf.
God, fading Metcalf is insane to me.
Gladys.
One of my starts of the week.
I'm sitting Monte.
McLaurin for me.
Ooh.
Interesting.
I'm going to sit McLaurin because I don't necessarily trust the offense, but I'm definitely not excited about DK Metcalf. Folks, that's going to be out for us. We got 5 minutes till kickoff. Bob, run us out, brother.
Yeah, that's all we got for today, folks. Once again, this is the Razzball Fantasy Football Podcast on the Razzball Fantasy YouTube channel. Join us every Sunday for 2 hours before kickoff as we break down all your start-sit questions and we talk about weather updates, injury updates, everything you need to win your fantasy league. And join us on Tuesday, folks. We're going to be doing rest of season trade targets this week, folks. We're excited to break down the best playoff schedules, the best rest of season schedules, everything you need to know up until fantasy playoffs. We'll break it down every Tuesday. Make sure you subscribe to us on the Razzball Fantasy YouTube channel. Go to IG and TikTok and go to Razzball.com. You see all these great writers. We got Gladys. Follow her at Gladys L. Tyler on Twitter. We got Matthew Styles. Find him at Styles08. And also Sky Guasco at Sky Guasco. And myself, Bobby Lamarco, at Bobby Lamarco on Twitter. Thanks for joining once again. We are out of here, folks.
Happy Veterans Day, everybody.
For sure.